Hi everyone, and thanks for clicking on this link. I'm glad you've joined me today. In this edition of Disaster Hack, we're going to be talking about a Hazard Mitigation Action Plan. Once you've completed your risk assessment, your next goal is to complete a HAZMAP. This is the topic of our discussion today. Our goals are very straightforward today. We want to understand what a Hazard Mitigation Action Plan is and why it's important. In this video, we also want to increase awareness of FEMA guidelines and expectations. To begin, a HAZMAP, or a Hazard Mitigation Action Plan, is a long-term strategy for protecting people and property from similar events in the future. An example about flooding might help us to bring this concept to life. Let's suppose that your community is frequently impacted by hurricanes and tropical storms. The excessive rainfall almost always fills the nearby river to capacity, and water flows over the banks into low-lying areas. Sadly, this has produced death at times and resulted in extensive property losses too. Many tax dollars are required to fulfill search and rescue operations, remove debris, and repair government buildings. Based on this situation, we need to study our hazards and vulnerabilities and determine that several steps need to be taken to limit our risk, exposure, and losses in the future. We need to develop a plan. What may be in this plan? First, we may need to remove homes and businesses from neighborhoods that flood the most. If another flood occurs, we will not allow people and businesses to rebuild. We will pass an ordinance that will require them to relocate to safer areas. Second, we will need to build a retaining wall to limit the amount of water that spills over the river and into low-lying areas. Third, we may need to dredge the river often to ensure that it has the capacity to carry the runoff associated with our tropical storms. Next, we need to improve our drainage systems and ensure that our roads and bridges are not impacted or can withstand high water. Finally, we want to make sure that we're requiring insurance for every property, whether it's a private insurance policy or through the National Flood Insurance Program. If these steps were taken, it's likely that we will see the reduced impacts and consequences of disasters in the future. Because hazard mitigation action plans can make such a positive difference, FEMA does have several requirements in this regard. States must have a HAZMAP in place and updated every year. States must support the development of local HAZMAPs. States must complete an initial review of HAZMAPs from local jurisdictions and report back on their status. In addition, the state and local HAZMAPs must be created through a deliberate planning process, describe the risk based on THIRA, document state capabilities to reduce risk and raise resilience, and set goals and actions based on the state's priorities. Furthermore, state and local HAZMAPs must also support local capabilities to accomplish mitigation goals, establish a process to keep the plan current and implement it over time, and demonstrate the state's commitment to the plan and to following federal laws and regulations. There are several benefits of HAZMAPs. Hazard mitigation planning reduces loss of life and property by minimizing the impact of disasters. Mitigation plans are key to breaking the cycle of disaster damage and reconstruction. FEMA requires that each community have HAZMAPs to be eligible for federal pre- and post-disaster assistance. Having a plan in place ensures development takes disasters into account and speeds up mitigation projects during recovery. In summary, HAZMAPs are plans to reduce the probability and consequences of future disasters. FEMA requires local, state, and tribal governments to have HAZMAPs. And HAZMAPs require a lot of work, but they will provide benefits in the form of reducing anticipated risks. If you would like further information about HAZMAPs, I would refer you to the following two FEMA documents. Well, I hope this helps. Best regards, and have a great day.